This video seems like it's very long overdue, 'cause let's see. The actual version of the mod was released the 2nd of January. It is now the 25th. That is about 23 days after release that I'm making this video and going to be publishing it, which is great. Let's get started with the Keika Genkai. So far in the mod, there's only 3 Keika Genkai so far. We have plans for more, and we already have ideas for a few things. Everything that's being added is inside of our Trello, so I will probably post that in the description of this video. But if you want to see what we have for upcoming ideas, just check there and you will be able to see what's kind of being done in the works. But first off, let's start with the main section, which is the skill points and everything. So while setting up this video, I already got some XP, but here I do that and I go into survival. When you get one of these, it doesn't change your XP bar, and that's basically how you get levels in the mod. Is if you get XP, then it changes. But also if you get advancements, or even just the little toasts up there. So like if I was to get what could I get? Dorite, I get 3 XP, so it's just any toast that pops up. So I have 1 JP now. This skin tone system is a cosmetic item or GUI system that I added in just because I thought that it would be something nice to have in the mod. So you can flip through all of these and there's a good amount of tones that you can choose from. Obviously, if you don't want any, there's still this gray one here, but so you can switch through these. You have all of these different listings. You got clan, Keika Genkai, element, bounty, and bounty listing. So as you get more bounty, which you get from leveling up, that will go up. So right now I'm only listed as a tuning. Village is set up, just sometimes you can get nothing, so there will be a village token as well, just so that you can change it if you really want to. So here's the stats system, and basically all of these have been set up except for Senjutsu, so you can put more into chakra, medical, taijutsu, and speed, and these all increase the amount of stuff that's put in. So let me start off with, let's go with 1 more speed. You can see my FOV was changed here, so that means, well, I guess it doesn't really mean that I got faster, but I did get faster. So I think it's stat level max, and now I have 1000 JP. So this is a command that you can only use when you have cheats enabled, and it does not change your bounty, so it's the only thing that happens. I might add in a bounty thing. So the max for speed is 10, and you can see that I did become faster. It does not affect how you run on water, and as you can see, this is a system that I've set up, so chakra control is set up. It's just not set up for while climbing yet, but I am working on that soon, hopefully, if I can figure it out. So max is 30, and this gives you a ton of hearts. Next is taijutsu. So what I've done is I've gone and I've put 30 into taijutsu. Taijutsu is high, or at least higher than it should be. So that is being changed in a later. So it's being changed in the future before I release this update of the mod. So then next we have chakra. So I'm gonna quickly put the max amount of chakra that you can in here, and then I will be right back. Okay. Alright, I've put the max amount of chakra that is allowed into the stats. So the cap for now is 70, 30, 30, and 10. Senjutsu is coming once I do the tailed beasts, and I need to move all of these letters over by 1 just so that they look a little bit better, because right now they're touching the buttons, but that's fine, I can do that later. If I hold B, which is our chakra charging system, you get this little outline on you, and the chakra goes up. The cap rank. Okay, I'm back. Here is the cap for the chakra. It is 177,500. So that is way more than I expected. I thought it was 115,000. So this just means that you're going to have a lot more. And with this high amount of chakra, it's actually justifiable because you're going to have 2 or 3 elements. You're going to have maybe a Kagagenkai or 2. Plus, if you're part of a clan, you're going to have clan abilities. So it really just is going to be higher. Once the update comes out, there will be a cap on how much. XP is the experience points, JP is the jutsu points, which are used for these, and then SP is going to be your skill points, so there will be a cap on those, but there won't be a cap on JP. And once you reach the cap for SP, you can't get any more, and that's all the SP is going to be used for your stats. And there's going to be hopefully enough to fill up this entire page. I've already planned out one more, but I haven't gotten to do it yet. So yeah. Okay, so let's get started on the Kikagenkai. And first off, we have Wood Release. So if I shift right click, we see our first ability, which is Wood Clones. So if we right click, we have 2 Wood Clones, which are both bound to me. You can see from the name tag over top, and they don't have much health, but killing one gives you 5 XP. So next we have House Creation Jutsu. It requires 6,500 chakra and 5 JP, so it's the jutsu points. Wood Clones requires 2,500 chakra, and it shows whenever you switch between them. So if you right click first time, it unlocks the ability for you. Then the second, it creates, or it uses the ability. So obviously Wood Clones, it's not one that you need to, it's one that you get unlocked instantly. You don't need to purchase it. So we've created a house that can only be used once at the moment. So next we have Forest Immersion Jutsu. It is 8,500 chakra cost and 10,000 JP, or not 10,000, 10 JP. So if we right click and then right click again, creates this forest of trees around the player, and then it goes away after an amount of time. Next we have Tree Bind, which requires 9,500 and is 15,000 for JP. So if we right click this and then use it, it only works on, well, it works on everything, but there's a tree, let me find it, I think it's this one, yeah. So this gets put onto the player, and the player is just sitting inside of it. So then last but not least, we have Multi-Wood Clone Jutsu. So if we use this, okay, at the moment, Multi-Wood Clone Jutsu, I believe, is broken, or I did not set it up correctly, so this will be fixed in the next update. But let's get started on Explosion Release, and then we'll do Sandblast. So first off, when you learn Explosion Release, you will get clay pouches, and you can equip these. These are purely cosmetic, so you do not need to keep them equipped. Let me go to my skin and turn off my jacket. So if you can see, I have this layer on my chest, and I have 2 mouths on my hands. So I have 2 hands on my mouth, and I have this like stitching on my chest, and these are symbols. Well, the symbols are Datara's, and then the hands are the same as what Datara has on his. So if we shift through to the first ability, we have C1. So we can spawn it in, and as you can see, there are tiny little bugs. So if you give it a minute, they explode. Okay, so I've turned on the ability damage, which basically is a game rule that you can change inside of the game in case you don't want ability damage to happen. So that'd be those little beetles exploding, or anything that requires something that does damage. So if you can see here, now they explode, and they don't do much damage, but it is a good amount. It's probably the size of a creeper. So, okay, so next we have C2, which creates this big dragon, which you can fly, space to go up, R to go down. Uh-oh. Okay, Okay. No, do not let it become night. Shukaku crashes the game. Okay, here's a little intermission. I have found a new bug with the system. Shukaku crashes the game each time he explodes something. So, I obviously forgot to make it so that he does not spawn, which will be fixed in the newer update. Okay, we are back. It seems as if the game is loaded before Shukaku shot his tailed beast bomb, and that is something that nobody wants, because I loaded up some chunks where Shukaku has decided to spawn, and he launched a tailed beast bomb straight at the ground, which caused the entire game to lag and then inevitably crash. So I'm going to quickly get enough clay to show you C2, and we will be right back once I have that. And we are back. I have 9,660 clay now. So we are going to use C2. I need to fix explosion. So now we have our dragon back once again. So it seems as if sorry, the dragon decided, you know what, let's stop working. So now we have the dragon, and you can ride on his back, you can go up and down, and all of that fancy jazz. But then if you, I forgot to bring him back down. He does not auto come back down, so I mean, try not to leave them floating in the air. So if you shift right click him, he will explode. You get resistance for a limited amount of time, just so that since you're being so close to him, it won't affect you. So I'm going to quickly get chakra again, and then I will be back once I have that. Okay, this should be enough chakra, so now we are going to use the next ability, which is C3, where you create this little golem type thing. I decided to model it after Villager because I thought that was really nice and all. So this is the damage that the Villager does, and so it's a pretty big amount of area for an explosion. But next we have C4, which is a clone of the player. I need to fix the model, but so you can right click him and then shift right click, and I believe, okay, to be completely honest, I don't remember how I set this guy up, so I'm gonna have to look at his, oh, okay, there we go. Oh yes, so he creates particles around him, and any entity around him will explode. So explosion does need some patches, same with Shukaku, which has already been fixed. So next we have, whoops, okay, so next we have C0. So as you can see in chat, I logged because my art is an explosion. So if I go and I eat this clay ball, it explodes this big area. And if I actually, okay, so if I go into survival and I eat the clay ball, I explode. So it kills you and anything in the area. Oh, I broke my signs. That's alright. So that's all of explosion. So we'll throw that back into the chest. And now we have sand release. So as you can see, we have sand supply there and a little counter there. So I am going to quickly get some more chakra and get some sand, and then I will be back. Okay, so this should be enough sand now. So we're gonna look at the first ability, which is sand shurikens. It tells you how much chakra and how much sand it's gonna require. So you shoot out a few sand shurikens at anything in your way. Next we have sand mount, which basically, when used, it launches you up into the air and as long as the cooldown is active, you are allowed to ride on this mount. You can stop in air, you can go up, you can go down. It's basically just creative flight. And so we'll wait for the cooldown to go down. And I believe, yeah, there we go. So it is an ability that can allow you to get away. So there might be a second cooldown that happens just to balance it out by a bit. So next we have Sand Coffin, which I can't properly show you guys. Basically, it entraps the player in a coffin of sand and deals damage to them while slowed. Next we have Sand Tsunami, which if you think you know what it's going to do, it's probably going to do that. You shoot at a wall of sand. So, I do not remember the cooldown reset command, so I'm just not going to use it. Next we have Sand Beast Bomb, which the only way to use is by getting give fully boy Shinobi Uprising. When you get the Shukaku Learner, which you get by defeating the Tailed Beast Shukaku. So there's a chance that it doesn't implant right. And as you can see, it is fiercely trying to implant it into me. I am not sure if I'm going to be able to show you this or not, because of the whole system that I have set up. I need to give me a minute. So it's only a 30% chance that it works, yet I'm still not the Jin of Shukaku. So at the moment I cannot show you. Actually, let me summon the Tail Beast Bomb. Shinobi Uprising. Here we go. Okay, so Tail Beast Bomb does not work at the moment. That's good to know. So let's close the game once more. Okay, so once again that crashed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the armor pieces that we have in the mod, and if I can get the Tail Beast Bomb to work, I will add it into the end of the video. If I can't get it to work, then that's alright. But so first off, we have Hashirama Battle Armor. So this is the first version that I've done. I've done 2 versions in the mod so far, and it was all part of a community vote. We have the first Hokage's necklace, Hashirama's Battle Armor V2, which everybody wanted more, and it's got a black under kind of piece to it, cloth basically. Then we have Datara's eye scope, which isn't too fancy, it's just a base eye scope for the player. And then we have, of course, the gourd, and that's it. Other than the pouches, that's all that's really in the mod for armor. Some things that you can see while I was recording was the Senju. Well, you probably didn't notice that it was a Senju scroll, but this basically gives you Senju Sage mode, and we also have Toad Sage mode. So at the moment this is not working correctly, but as you can see, these are 2 things that are being planned on adding in. I am revamping the Toad Sage eyes, and the Senju is staying the same because I already like how it is. So now let's go through some outlining courses of the mod. So this is where it would be a cut to... Okay, so I know how I said that I was going to link this in the description, and I still am, but I'm going to go through some of the base things that we have set up. So we have rarities listed already for special things like clans and Kikagenkai. We have all of them listed here, some better, some worse. So we have earth being worked on and water being worked on at the moment. We have Kikagenkais and all of the cooldowns for them. Each of these stay the same unless something requires a higher one. We have clans being worked on, so this is going to be Senju Wood style. We have the Dojutsu listed so far, so we have a description for each of them. So we have the Renegon, which can be unlocked two ways: infusing Senju cells or being born with the status of reincarnation of Indra, but you need to have the Sharingan to unlock the Renegon if you are reincarnate. So if you aren't, then you're kind of fucked. Then we have the second or the third way technically, but also technically not. So you can infuse the Renegon with you, but you will get the 6 paths of pain. This is subject to change depending on how I feel. And then we have the Tenseigan, which will be infusing a Byakugan into yourself. So we have evolutions as well. The Susanoo, there are 3 things that are going to happen. The color is going to be randomized. The ribs will be randomized, but there's only 2 styles, 8 or 12. And the design, depending on the Sharingan, will have their standard design for skeletal, armored, and the other one. So this is all that's really planned at the moment. We have plans for items, weapons, cosmetics, and modes. I just have not added any of that because I want to stick with elements and go from there. So that's going to wrap up the video for all that we want to do. There will be links posted in the description to the Trello, to the Discord, to anything else that I'm forgetting at the moment. Probably the Curse Forge and one other thing if I think about it. But that's all I really have to showcase today. There should be a new update sometime later today to fix all those bugs that I found in this video. That includes the Tailed Beast Bomb, Explosion not telling you the chakra cost or JP cost. That will include fixing those labels and anything else that I can figure out from editing this video. So if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, and if you have any comments or any suggestions, leave them in the comments. And subscribing to the channel would be highly appreciated, but of course you don't have to. And that's really all I have to say.